Thanks, man.
Go ahead.
Look
have
at
a
this
seat.
beautiful chair.
Yeah, it's very colorful. I made it myself. I crafted,
Really?
got the yarn.
Must have taken you a long time.
Yeah. So I'm going to be asking him some questions, but if you guys have questions, definitely go to Twitter, @mention instant.me,
Oh, I
and
gotta
I'm
do
going to
that.
try and get to those at the end. Are you going to ask yourself a question?
Someone has to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you do it. Just interview yourself. I'll just sit here and watch.
That would be uninteractive.
Yeah, no, definitely. So before we get officially started, I have the most important question
Sure.
of this entire experience. One or two, or they say one or two, but if you prefer letters, we can do A or B. But there's two boxes here, and you have to choose only one. The other one goes away forever. You never get to know what's inside of it.
Man, I'm going to have such
So
FOMO for that
smart,
box.
smart decisions right here.
I will go with box number 1.
One. All right. Two is gone.
Goodbye, 2.
Boom. Bye, two. Thank you so much for joining us. We were
Thanks.
just chatting really quick backstage about when we got here, and it seems the days kind of start to blend together, especially by Saturday. But
Yeah.
it's got to be really fun because obviously you interact with your fans, but getting to see them in person and like actually experience something like VidCon's got to be a little surreal.
Yeah, every year, I've gone to VidCon for like I've been to every single VidCon except for the very first one, and I've watched it grow from this, like a hotel lobby meeting essentially in the middle of Hollywood to this, which is awesome, and there are more chairs here than I think there were people at the first VidCon, so it's been really exciting. Every single year I love going because I only not get to meet people that I've never met before, but also friends and people I haven't seen in 3-4 years to catch up and see what they've been up to. And Hollywood's great because everyone's always moving around to new jobs, doing new things. So it's really cool to see like, oh, cool, I knew you from this X years ago, and now you're doing this now. Maybe we can work together in the future and do something fun.
Yeah, well, speaking about you were doing X and now you're doing Y, you seem to manage doing a ton of different projects, not just your own content. You're working with other people. What is your time management? Like, how do you keep all of that straight, all those plates spinning?
I don't sleep very much. When I do, I remember when I first moved to LA, I was an actor, and I would just go out for auditions, and that was my life. And I would have all this time to play video games all the time, because you're not auditioning every moment of every day. And now I have played one video game in the last like 3 years, probably. So it's really just finding time to put into work to do other stuff, finding like friends that are editors that can help you with your content and stuff, and eventually just learning how to let go of sort of the protectiveness you have over your content and have other people help out.
So, like you said, you don't really have a ton of time to play video games, but that's obviously something that you're passionate about. You enjoy that.
Yes.
Would you say that, like, if somebody said, oh, you got an extra 2 hours, what game would you pick out of any?
At this point, it's 100% Overwatch, because, yeah, she knows what's up. It's Zarya over there.
And so tell me, why is that the one for you?
It's fast, it's really quick. A lot of friends are playing it. I enjoy any game where I can sit down and have people that I know playing it with me. Sort of the single solo experience isn't as appealing, especially because you can be screaming at each other over the mic, like yelling about something, and that to me is really exciting and reminds me of sort of like the good old days playing in my basement and stuff.
Yeah. You mentioned, you moved to Los Angeles, acting was like your main focus. Mm-hmm. How important was it to have a venue like YouTube and being able to put stuff out there? Because in the past, if you were an actor trying to make it, you either made it or no one ever saw your work because you were doing a one-man show that 2 people came to. Now you can do your one-man show in your living room and millions of people can watch.
Yeah, it's crazy. If it wasn't for YouTube, I probably would not be in LA anymore. Because after a full year of sitting in LA, trying to be an actor, going out to auditions as much as I could, but just really very rarely getting roles, it was just so tiring that I was not doing anything to fulfill myself creatively, with creativeness or anything. So being able to be a YouTuber on top of all that was great. Reach out to people that you've never met before and do content and not have someone have to give you permission to do it.
Yeah. Now, in addition to your own channel, you get a Rocket Jump and Feast of Fiction. Yeah, I knew I was going to screw up those F's. I always wanted to say Fiction of Feast, and it makes no sense, but for some reason.
It happens to me all the time, too.
So talk to me about getting involved in those projects and kind of what it's like to work on those, and how is that different from working on just your own content?
Yeah. So Feast of Fiction came around because this was in the earlier days of YouTube, we were sitting around thinking like, man, what are shows that need to exist that don't? And I grew up reading the Redwall books and Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, and I remember always hearing about the awesome feasts that they eat in those books. I'm like, we should make a show around that. And 4 years later, we have like 600,000 subscribers. We put out 80 plus videos. And so it's been this really fun journey because out of everything I do, that is by far the most interactive with the people that watch the show, because we take almost every single thing that we do from the comments. We're always listening to see what people give thumbs up to, what they want to see made, and us making it for them is great because it's, you can't really satisfy that happiness any other way. Seeing people being so excited that you did something that they asked for. And Rocket Jump is a company that was started by my brother. And for the longest time, I sort of was operating side by side with them. And this year, I joined them to be on the shorts team. So we're making short films every 2 weeks. And that's been a ton of fun because it lets me really flex and like learn how to be a filmmaker outside of just an actor or just a musician or just a whatever. So I'm learning so much about editing, producing, directing, and every other part of making a short film, because I someday want to, take those skills outwards and make something bigger and cooler for everyone.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned, you're taking suggestions, so you're actually reading these comments, you're looking through them. That's amazing, and it's I think that's one of the important things about creating content like you do, and you have that direct interaction.
Yeah, I tell people this all the time, but I have read almost every single comment. I definitely read every single tweet that someone ever sends at me. I don't have like an assistant reading it or whatever. Like I'm just like you guys. I look at my feed in the morning, I go to the bathroom, I check Twitter, I check whatever, and I check what people are saying. I respond to people all the time on Snapchat and stuff, because to me, like, the idea that being quote-unquote famous should close you off to anyone is really silly, because at the end of the day, we're all the exact same. We all came from the same place. We're all here because we're fans of other people. I'm a fan of so many of the creators here, and I get shy going up to them too, but I really don't like the stigma that can sometimes come with being famous, which means you don't interact with people anymore and you become less of like a human. For me, it's all about empathy. It's all about connecting with the people around you, because that's what life's all about for me.
Yeah, well, but it also kind of can go the other way. I know, obviously you've got amazing fans, but there can be people out there that you're not a human, you're this entity, and they can say anything about that entity, and it won't affect anyone. But, that negativity, how do you handle when you see those mean or bullying comments?
It's really tough. I think I get a bit of a pass. I think it's so much harder to be a female content creator in the world, because there's so much more negativity and so much more sexism that happens that we take for granted all the time. So I'm very fortunate in that way, but negative stuff still pops up all the time. People always accuse you of being a sellout or sort of not meeting their expectations about stuff. And you just kind of have to filter it out, because at the end of the day, like if you have 100 comments in a video and one of them is bad and all you're doing is paying attention to the one comment that's being negative, then you're really missing the big picture, which is 99 out of 100 people really like the content. They had something supportive or constructive to say, and if you were getting a grade in school, that's like a freaking solid A. Like I would take that any day.
I love it. Now, you are an amazing singer and musician, and talk to me about what it's like to craft a song. Just, does it happen in a day? Does it happen over the course of a month? I'm sure it's different for everyone.
To make a song?
Yeah.
Yeah. Back in the day, it was, for some reason, the pattern was, let's make a video every week. And so it's like, let's write a song and film a music video and put it out every week. And I was pulling all-nighters every single week, doing a new song, and it got really exhausting really fast. And I sort of found out over time that it's a lot more fun to take your time with something like that. So giving it a month or even 2 weeks to let something sort of sit with you, so you can go to sleep thinking about it, wake up thinking about it, and really take time to craft a song. So writing a song is way harder than covering one too, which is crazy. But it's really a matter of time, and it's kind of like any other muscle in your body. The more you use it, the better you are at sort of getting into the groove of things and making sure that you are, doing things in the song that you really want to do, and you're not just sort of throwing it in there because you're being lazy, So the more time, usually the better.
Nice. Like, how would you describe your sound, and is there a direction that you'd love to go in the future to continue to grow that?
I grew up in Seattle, so huge bands that were influences to me growing up were Sublime, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Nirvana. So I had this grunge rock sort of upbringing, and I love Radiohead. They're one of my favorite bands, and I think music is the best when you're able to collaborate with other people. I would love to find a group of people in Los Angeles or close friends that I can really write music with, because the beauty of music is that when you're talking to someone in the conversation, we're both trying to get somewhere, right? You ask me a question, I ask you a question, it's a back and forth. And in music, you all sit down, and as soon as you start playing an instrument to a song, there's no talking, and there's no stopping to be like, hold on, I disagree. It's all about, it's sort of like improv, where you have to always be saying yes and to whatever someone else is giving you and working closely with someone else. It's like collaboration on YouTube. So I would love to find a group of people someday that I can really work out and do awesome music with, because there's nothing more satisfying.
Nice. So you recently took a trip to Vegas.
Yes.
That we all got to see a little bit of. Normally, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but in this case, we got to see some of it.
Yeah, it's true. In this case, the city of Vegas wanted you to see it. They sponsored the video.
Yeah. Now, obviously, we got to see a lot of your that experience, but it had to have been kind of fun to like get there and kind of have like free reign and get to do a lot of stuff. Was there any stuff we didn't see in the video that you had a lot of fun doing while you were there?
Definitely hanging out at night, going out to just like walking around, being like, that restaurant looks cool, let's go in there, and asking the waiter like, all right, you need to tell us everything that people don't know about this restaurant. What are the things that you do as the person that works here? And I love like talking to people and sort of taking them out of work mode so that, you can really find out what they like at the restaurant, or if they even have recommendations for something for you to do later on. So there was a lot of just like messing around with people that were working and just like, shooting the S word.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can swear up here.
Now, going back to Rocket Jump, you guys are working with Hulu.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that and what that's been like.
It's been really awesome. So if you guys don't know, we're doing a show called Dimension 404, which is like a mix between The Twilight Zone and a show called Black Mirror, if you guys have ever seen that.
Which is really good. You should see it.
Yeah, it's really good, really dark. So it's 6 episodes. They're all each standalone, and they're all sort of focused on horror, and they have an element of technology to them. And recently we cast Robert Buckley and Leah Michele in one of the episodes, which is really exciting. We cast Sarah Hyland for Modern Family, as well as Patton Oswalt. So we have this awesome cast filled with these major stars, and it's the first time Rocket Jump's ever done something on that level. And it's been crazy seeing the press pop up everywhere, being like, look at what Leah Michele's doing, and going to set and being like, oh my gosh, is that paparazzi? Like, I can't handle this right now. But the show is amazing. It's being shot right now over the course of 8 weeks. It's coming out probably either very late this year or next year. I have no idea, honestly. But it's really exciting. It's the first time that we've gotten to work with huge stars, and I think it's really what we want to do with the format, with YouTube and stuff, is like show people that online media can be more than just a skit in the backyard. It can be something that's bigger and cooler and tells a real story, and hopefully you guys will like it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
But it's important, I think, that you're able to do both. You're able to do those little skits. You're able to, if you wanted to make a video backstage right now and post it, I'm sure you would have something in there that somebody would love. Equally, that's something that you craft so carefully, like a full show that's going to be on a venue like Hulu.
Yeah.
That's got to be really liberating as a creator to have the opportunity to do both of those.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And that's true. Like, the spirit of VidCon is videos anywhere, anytime, working with people. There's no restrictions. You really want collaboration to be something that you can talk to someone and not feel like you have to do something to make it better. It's something that comes out of the organic back and forth between two people. Like, spitballing ideas is one of my favorite things to do, and oftentimes the best ideas come when you're not worried about what the other person might think, or worried if they're going to think it's funny, because it's really fun when you're able to be really free with that sort of stuff, and that's why I love VidCon, is you get that feeling. You can go backstage and do something, and it can be the best thing you've done all year.
Totally. Now, what would you say is probably maybe the most surprising success you've had? Like, what's a video or a concept that you were like, I don't know if people are going to like this, and then it like explodes?
We did this skit called The Worst Wi-Fi Password Ever on Rocket Jump, and it was just something that we came up with while sitting around cracking jokes and being like, whoa, wait, what if a Wi-Fi password was this? And I'm like, all right, well, is that a skit? And we went and we filmed it in under an hour. It took like a day to edit, and we were like, all right, well, let's put it out there. And it just blew up in popularity. We knew that people would think it's funny because we all had a similar sense of humor about Wi-Fi passwords, whatever. It's such a 21st century thing. But we had no idea it was going to get to that level. And so it really gave us a second to be like, whoa, Maybe we should make more jokes about Wi-Fi passwords.
Yeah, no, I mean, I will tell you, anytime you go over to a friend's house, the name of their Wi-Fi
Oh, yeah.
network and then their password when you ask to log on, it can tell you a lot about a person.
Yeah, and it could also be like a 20-minute affair, being like, hold on, I can't see the network. How do you spell it? Okay, Z, all right. It didn't work.
Totally, totally. Or like, I love just looking and seeing all the other ones that I can't get access to, but just the names.
Yeah, there's
So
sometimes they're really
get
creative.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, oh, I wish I'd thought of that. That's crazy. Well, I'm gonna have you take a question from this TMI jar.
Ooh, okay.
So you're gonna take it out and read it and answer it while I pull up some of your guys' questions. If you guys have been tweeting towards us, remember it's instant.me. If you got a new one that you
This
just
is great.
thought of right this second.
The question was, who was your first crush? So, I guess I can talk about my first celebrity crush. When I was a kid, Britney Spears in 6th grade had just come out with "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time." This is the same year I was also listening to Eminem a bunch. So she was 100% the first person I ever had a crush on. I guess in school there was a girl in 7th grade. I won't say her name. I thought she was the coolest person in the world, and there was one time there was like a parent-teacher like conference where everyone was sitting and hearing someone talk, and I saw the girl I had a crush on, and I pointed her out. And I was like, because my mom was there, I was like, oh, Mom, that's the girl I had a crush on, and she looked at her and just looked at me and went. I was like, what? What do you mean no? She didn't want me to date anyone until I was like 23, so that was also. Fortunately, she changed her mind on that.
I think all moms.
The
could be
stern
like that.
disapproval. She's like, she's not the one for you, my son. I was like, okay, I'm 12.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, I have a question here from Taranti, I think.
Hello, Taranti. Raise your hand.
Taranti01. Oh, hi.
Hello.
How's it going? She wants to know if you have any great stories from when you and your brother were kids.
Oh, man. So Freddie and I were like a year and a half apart. People still think he's my dad from VGHS, which is funny. But when we were kids, we used to mess around all the time with, we would like make short films and stuff. So one thing that we would do is we'd take pool cues from those little starter sets, those little Oshkosh Bagosh, whatever, like pool sets that you could turn into like table hockey. And we would afterwards draw in lightsabers and film ourselves having like these epic lightsaber battles, and probably almost poking our eyes out every single time.
I love it. So I have one from Kaylin Maloli.
Kaylin?
Hi, how's it
Hello.
going? I hope I said that right. And she wants to know what's your go-to dance move.
My go-to dance move? I can't help but be silly every time I am like on the dance floor. So it's usually like a mix between like everyone's just sort of bobbing around. There's like the circle, and you're just like, I gotta do something with my hands. So I'm always just like, all right, let's just do this one. Because you're never gonna not look silly doing that. That or the Running Man.
Oh yeah, I
you
gotta
know.
get some kicks in there.
I know it's too early to do that though. I'm like sore. I'm like, oh, give me a break.
Oh, sit back down.
Give me some water.
So I have one from Virginia Sun, at Virginia Sun.
Hi, Virginia.
Hi, how's it going? And she wants to know who inspires you.
Oh boy. Every single day, I'm inspired by a lot of different people. Really, I'm inspired by people that are confident and strong enough to speak out about issues that matter. So the whole, what's her name? Well, I'll say this: anyone that is great at their craft and what they do, and isn't afraid to take a stance on something. Because I think taking a stand and making sure that you stand for something and believe in something with your whole heart is really important, especially in this day and age. There's so many things involving, there's so much bigotry in the world. There's a lot of hate, and I think anyone that stands up for equal rights is a hero to me, because that is a hard fight to fight, because there's always going to be someone on the other side saying no, and I think we all know where the right stance is to be in life, and I love anyone that does that because it inspires me to be more confident too.
Well put.
Thanks.
I think it's important to have those people to look up to, and that you can
Absolutely.
be one yourself.
I hope so. I
Yeah.
hope so. I mean, I look up to any of you guys too, because obviously making the trip out here is awesome, and the dedication is great.
So I've got M, I think, and it's at Nimui Love. Hopefully I said that.
Oh, yeah, our
Hi,
Overwatch
how's
fan.
It going? And she wanted to know, what's the most awkward video you ever filmed?
Oh gosh. I mean, to be brutally honest, it's probably a video I filmed with my ex-girlfriend, like the boyfriend questionnaire, because it's like, well, we're no longer together, but we are in this video, and it'll be there forever now. So probably anything involving someone that I used to be in a relationship with, but no longer am. It's tough. Dating you, I don't date YouTubers, guys. Just kidding.
Well, I'm going to hopefully get to some more of these, hopefully. And if not, I will try and ask them backstage, because I do see there's more questions, and get some answers for you. But I think it's time for the instant
box time?
challenge. And the reason it's called the instant challenge is people in EW recently powered up a new platform called Instant.
Oh, cool.
That focuses on people like yourself, solely on like the new famous, we're calling it. And it's really fun. You guys should check it out. It officially launched yesterday. But so that is the reason behind the name. Now, I don't know what's in here, so I always say that I hope it's tacos, but it hasn't been tacos yet.
Oh, man.
But
Taco Bell
so we're
booth is
gonna
over
open this
there.
up, and then you get to do whatever it is or says.
Okay, I'm excited. What is the most awkward moment you've had on a date? Tell us. Tell us. We demand to know.
Yes.
Ooh, boy, there's a lot of probably. Man, this is digging deep here, guys. I'm going real deep. I remember one time I was like in 9th grade, maybe. I was a freshman in high school, and we went out to see Harry Potter, and then I went to get dinner afterwards, and I remember going to, it was like the second Harry Potter, I think, and we decided to go to a day matinee event. I was like, oh, cool, we can do this and then get dinner after. We skipped school. And it was the single most populated Harry Potter screening I've ever seen in my life, not by adults, but by screaming babies, like 10-year-old kids, like 8-year-olds, like people that just were so excited. I mean, I was stoked too, but not on that level. And I was trying to like be all romantic and be like, yeah, let's hold hands. But it was just, every time I tried to do anything, it was just like, oh gosh, a baby would wail in your back ear. So that was like the most painful 2 hours of my life, because we both probably didn't want to be there the entire time.
I think any parent or babysitter would say that children have similarly made romantic situations much less romantic.
Yeah, exactly. Watch the movie at home.
I love it. Well, like I said, I'm going to try and get some questions that you guys asked answered backstage, but I want to thank you so much for joining us here on this stage. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I definitely had a lot of fun, and really, thank you so, so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Such a pleasure.
There you go. So exciting, right?
That was sort of beautiful.
The power of YouTube.